Panthers, Rangers. Guess who's in the house, Steve?
Brooksy.
There he is. You saw him out of Valhalla walking a practice round. He is a passionate Panther fan. Blake Wheeler back in the lineup. Hadn't been playing for the Rangers since February the 15th. Oh, my. Artemi Panarin, Vincent Trocheck, and rings the bell off the underside of the crossbar. Beats Bob. Rangers' first power play goal of the series. They're up 1-0. And then it's 2-0. We thought in real time it was 2-0 for sure. Mika Zibanejad off the shoulder, off the crossbar, and out. So it's still 1-0, and the Panthers, frankly, lucky it wasn't worse. Then here comes the Panthers. Sam Bennett keeps at it. You'll see that Igor has it, and then it's stuck, and then Bennett. That's why those guys keep poking at the stick to puck. Florida on a power play. Guess who? Carter Verhaeghe. You got to see it in real time as it's hanging in midair. A little backhand. He hammers it home, his 9th of the postseason, and it's 2-1 Panthers. 4 minutes to go in the second. Rangers on the power play. Alexis Lafreniere hits the post. Iron unkind. Rangers 2-2 when trailing after 2. Panthers 5-0 when leading after 2. Early third. Tension's high. Matthew Tkachuk's always chewing on that mouthpiece. Oh, you can't do that. Chris Kreider reaches up and yanks it and chucks it in the stands. What are you doing? That's not very sportsmanlike. It's that time of year. Hand-eye. This is crazy. Adam Fox, Lafreniere. Let's see it again. His 7th of the postseason. Beautiful spin. Puts it right there, and the little hand-eye drops it in. We're tied at 2s. Under 7 to go. Rangers turn it over. Kyle Oposo denied by Shesterkin. Such a great chance. Couldn't lift it over the pad, and we're still tied at 2. Now it's a chance. Kreider, Zibanejad. It's wide. And for the 3rd consecutive game this series, bring out the Zambonis, clean up the ice. We're putting time on the clock. We go to overtime. First conference final with 3 consecutive OT games since 2001. Early on, Wheeler back on the ice for the first time since February, but now he's got to go have a seat as he brings down Barkov. Power play, and on the ensuing power play, beautiful puck movement. Tic-tac-toe. That's it. That's all. Barkov to Sam Reinhart. He beats Shesterkin. Panthers 3-2. Peter Laviolette on losing for the first time in overtime this series.
We got to be better. We can't afford lapses like that. I don't have an explanation. It was a same thing where they come out and they're chasing. Now they're chasing it. They press, and I didn't think the response was good to start the second period. It just kind of went in there, and we had to kill some penalties from there. And so I definitely think that we need to be better.
You can see that he's got the headset on, and I hope you can hear me above the roar in the building, Matthew. Scott Van Pelt, again, another win and another visit. I appreciate you taking a moment, man. This is a win you've got to have. This series feels like it's such a coin flip. And the message in the room coming out for this this overtime period, what was the conversation in the room, Matthew?
We said, let's go win it in the first few minutes, and we did. So it's a great feeling. We dominated, I felt, for most of the last 2 games, especially as the games go on. So, it was, we caught them with not a great turnover on their part. Got a breakaway for Barkey, and then what a great little power play there for the win. So we're very happy with it.
Yeah, PK asked me if who's my pick for the Bucci. I said Verhaeghe, so I was wrong. I had Verswaggy. I was wrong. It's Reinhart. He's been such a sniper for you guys. How do you describe sort of what he's able to provide, particularly on that shot in that moment?
Yeah, it was huge. It was a great play by Barkey, and a great play by Monty as well, the bypass down there, and he just went bar down, so it was great.
I hesitate to put too much. I said you had to have it. I mean, obviously you don't, but I mean, the series feels frankly like you guys have had the better of it. and it could have been 3-1 them. How do you describe the significance, other than the obvious, of getting this one and now making it a best of 3?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have to get it, but we're definitely happy that we did get it. We're happy with the way we've been playing. In this series, we've had a couple breakdowns that have led to goals against, but other than that, we've been pretty solid. And now it's a best of 3 going back to MSG. That's what a time right now.
Yeah, and then you said it. I feel like, again, largely you've had the best of it these last couple. Is the sense among you that we've got 2 wins coming here, whether they come in the next 2 or over the course of the next 3?
Just stick with it, grind it out, be physical and fast, and I think we're going to like the result, hopefully.
Matthew, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm sure you want to get back to the boys. Congratulations, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Scott. Thank you.
You got it. Matthew Tkachuk, and Florida gets the series knotted up at 2 games apiece. One of Tkachuk's other records could be in jeopardy. Carter Verhaeghe's goal in the second, his 9th this postseason, 3rd most in a postseason in team history. Tkachuk has that team record as well with 11 in last season's Stanley Cup run to the final. Are the Rangers leaning too much on Igor? Like, at some point, does the dam burst?
Well, you think it has to, right? I mean, the way he's been playing is absolutely unbelievable. And you go back to, you were talking about in Game 3, should Florida had a better fate? They should have, right? And it was Igor who kept them in it. And then this game, but everybody says that, yeah, but Igor's part of the team as well. I don't always look at it as like, oh, the goalie's, saving them. That's part of the team. He's been good all year. Reason why he's one of the best goalies in the league, but eventually, if you're the Rangers, you have to defend better, right? You can't give up these opportunities.
He just felt like he was under siege from the second period on.
He was, and you're right. And that's why I think the Rangers need to defend better in front of him. They can't give up these chances and expect to win night after night. He's kept them in it the last 2 games of giving them an opportunity. Yeah. They come up with an overtime win last game. This game, they don't get it done.
Callie, I don't have the official stats in front of me, but Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, what are we looking at here? What have they given thus far?
Yeah, not good, not enough. And the saying, your best players have to be your best players. This is the time where they have to shine coming into Game 5. Panarin has 1 assist in this series. Kreider, Zibanejad, 0 points. So without those guys, they're not going to win this series. Listen, their role players have been great, but you need your top players.
I always ask about the room because it feels like there's this mythical energy that exists this time of year in those rooms. But if you're in the Ranger room, it says it's 2-2, but do you feel like this series is even? Do you feel that way right now?
I think you felt like you've been outplayed most of this series, but you also hang your hat on it is 2-2, correct? So now you have a chance to go back home, a best of 3.
In your building.
2 of them are at home. You've been good at home. Right. So you have to hang your hat on that.
Okay. It's 2-2.
Exactly.
Those guys we just mentioned, they've got to contribute significantly, or they're not going to win the series. Where it's just the margins are so narrow, it's so fractional. I just keep thinking of the way the pendulum swings. Friday, the Rangers are down 1-0. They're coming out and they're like, if we lose this game, we're down 2-0. We got to hit the road. We're done. They win it. Then they win that gong show Sunday. Now it's overtime again. I asked Tkachuk, and I said, "What the message in the room is what?" He said, "Let's just go win it quick." They did, but this sense of desperation, is that a fair word to use this early in the series, coming out in that overtime period for Florida?
Desperation and urgency are the 2 words I use when you think about a series. And I learned this when we went to the finals against Chicago when I was in Tampa. The momentum swings throughout a series, throughout a game. It's a team that could be kind of the most even keel and handle those momentum swings. I didn't think we did it well. When we were in Tampa, I thought Chicago did it very well, and we learned from that. But I think Florida's doing that. They're handling these momentum swings when they're not scoring. They're controlling the game. They're not putting the puck in the net. They're not changing their game. They're not taking risks. They're not turning pucks over. They're just continuing to go straight ahead, create those opportunities and chances.
During the regular season and throughout much of the postseason, Rangers power play is something we've talked a whole bunch about. In the end, it's a penalty on Wheeler and a power play goal that wins it for the Panthers. And I mean, it's classic tic-tac-toe, but I mean, the puck movement's beautiful, and I just wonder how you describe it.
Yeah, it's kind of a set play. In the Rangers penalty kill, they love to pressure when they're in the zone. They stretch out and they pressure, but when you do that, you can't get overextended, and that's what happens on this play for the Rangers. Trouba gets lost on the wall, and then Trocheck on the far side as this puck comes around, he starts to cheat towards his point man, Trocheck does. And when he does that, you can see him leaving the exit of the zone there. As he does that, that leaves Reinhart wide open in the middle of the ice. So it's Trouba goes on the wall, Trocheck tries to cheat on his point man. Now it's a 2-on-1 for Lindgren in front of the net. And Barkov and Reinhart with a beautiful play. Perfect shot to beat Shesterkin. But When you play a power play that pressures like that, you got to put 2 or 3 passes together, and usually there's going to be an open space. But for the Rangers, you just can't get that stretched out. If you want to pressure, you can, but you can't do it when they're looking straight at you because they're going to make plays.
I feel like I'm being not necessarily negative. I just think we're just talking about what we've seen. But if you are the Rangers, it is still 2-2, and you go home. And if 3 games are necessary, 2 of them are going to be in your building. The conversation amongst that group moving forward is what?
I think trying to limit our chances against is number 1. But number 2, let's win 2 out of 3 at home. And this is a resilient group. One thing about the playoffs, sometimes you're going to get outplayed and you find ways to win. Mm-hmm. And there's one thing about this Rangers group. I think they're resilient. I think they can find ways to win. They got probably the best goaltender right now in the playoffs in their net. And if they get their big boys going, it's going to be a tough team to beat because their bottom 6 right now is playing well. They're contributing offensively. They're good defensively. So if their top 6 can get going, Shesterkin continues to play the way they are, this is going 7 at least, but I'd be happy with the Rangers if you have that in front of you.
It's just, we go back to before the series even started, we talked about, is there perhaps more depth on the Florida side, just in terms of the number of players you might reasonably think could be multiple goal scorers? And we thought, like,
yes.
Yeah. And then we're looking at the guys, the Kreiders of the world, the Zibanejads of the world, the Panarins of the world. Like, those guys, they have got to deliver at some point. In Zibanejad, I feel like maybe I'm being a little unfair because you're this far away from it being 2-0, and maybe we're talking about a 3-1 series lead.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're right. The storyline coming into this series was depth, right, for Florida. And what depth has been better to this point? It's been the Rangers. Depth's been a lot better than Florida's. So it looks like those top guys, and I said it earlier in the show, is your best players have to be your best players this time of year. And it's tough. It's critical. I know one goes off of Bobrovsky's shoulder, off the pipe. It's a bounce here, a bounce there. But at the end of the day, it's a win or a loss if your best players aren't scoring, and they need to step up and do something in Game 5.
That's why every single spring I sit here and just shrug in amazement at what this particular playoffs is like. The Stanley Cup playoffs is just nothing like it. Ryan, appreciate your time, man.
Thank you.